Alright, so let's spend a minute and go through the genetic study guide to make sure you have the correct answers and you understand what's going to be on the test. For the first question, the question states that what's the name of the monk credited with making important genetic discoveries? Well, that was Gregor Mendel. And for question 2, he studied pea plants. Question 3 wants to know the traits that he examined in those specific plants, and a list of those can be found on page 83 in the Orange textbook. These traits include seed shape, seed color, seed coat color, pod shape, pod color, flower position, and stem height. For number 4, genetics is the study of genes and heredity. Heredity, then, is the passing of traits from parents to offspring. For DNA, I want you to understand more than just what it stands for. Yes, it does stand for deoxyribonucleic acid, but I also want you to know that it's the genetic material that carries information about an organism, and then it's passed from parents to offspring. The 4 bases of DNA are A, T, C, and G, and the way that they pair up is that A pairs with T and C pairs with G. A chromosome, for number 8, is a double rod of condensed chromatin. It contains DNA and it carries genetic information. You have, or humans have, 23 pairs of chromosomes. Be careful on the test and make sure that you know it's 23 pairs or just 46 chromosomes. Dominant genes are expressed with a capital letter and recessive genes are expressed with lowercase letters. An example of a human phenotype would be something like hair color, eye color, skin color. We use Punnett squares to insert genotypes to predict phenotypes, or the probability that offspring will have a certain trait. Gametes reproduce using meiosis, while body cells reproduce using mitosis. The product of meiosis is 4 haploid cells. That means that there are 4 cells that have half of the regular number of chromosomes in them. The product of mitosis is 2 diploid cells, or 2 cells that have the whole number of chromosomes. For 18 and 19, you'll want to look back at the meiosis and mitosis notes. But basically, the phases that you need to be aware of are prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. Genes are located in the nucleus of a cell. And then today in class we talked about what a pedigree is. You can find more information about it on page 117 in the Orange book. And basically it's a chart that's used for tracking human traits. So it's kind of like a family tree, but it shows different traits, specifically genetic disorders or diseases. That's all for the study guide. Make sure that you understand how to complete Punnett squares. There is a Google Doc shared with you that has lots of practice pages for Punnett squares, a few for mitosis, and a little bit of information about genetics, so use those too. Oh, and by the way, your essay question, you're going to have to be able to compare and contrast DNA and RNA. If you have any questions, let me know.